Hi everyone. I wanted to give you a quick rundown of what the sovereign services in the sovereign communities are today, so you can get a better understanding of why my initiation and transformation is so incredibly unique and is really the only thing of its kind out there today on the market. So I'm going to go through all of the services that I've personally gone through myself and tell you exactly what they're about. So first is Bibi Bashkis, and she is with the New Earth University. I personally love Bibi. She was my first teacher, and I have a lot of respect for her. She also really went through the fires in terms of what it took for her to learn this knowledge. So there's a lot of respect for Bibi. Bibi is more of an international teacher. She lives in the UK, and so her understanding of law is a bit more broad and international, and is not specified for US citizens, because the thing about the United States is that we actually have legal pathways to take us back to sovereignty through lawful coding and through going into proper jurisdiction. And we also have the Constitution, which is unique to our country. So for that reason, Bibi is better for more of an international audience. Her foundational documents are used in my worldwide offering. So if you're listening and you're from the UK, you can go to that offering. I'll link it below, and you can have access to all of these international affidavits, such as the Affidavit of Non-Corporate Status. That's where you have the UCC1, where you take lawful ownership of your straw man. Straw man is what's known as an en legis, which is a legal entity. If you don't know, that's actually how they see us in the law. We are entities, not even human beings. So that's Bibi. Next, very controversial, David Straight, which I know many of you, at least here in the States, know of. David really is one of a kind, I have to tell you. Ultimately, and rest in peace, David, he recently died. About a year or 2 years ago, almost now. And I have quite a few videos of David on my site from a seminar that I attended with him. David, in my opinion, was one of the best teachers of understanding this comprehensive knowledge, and he really laid out the jurisdictions in a simple, cohesive way, which I then teach to my students as well. Perfect example. What is the definition of law? And I test everyone with that. What does law stand for? Not even top attorneys who have graduated and taken oath to the bar can answer this question, because they don't even teach this in school. So I'm going to quiz you really quickly. If you know what law stands for, why don't you write it below and let me know, and I'll let you know if you're right. So he teaches that. His knowledge is wonderful, but there are discrepancies in what he teaches, and most especially for his state national passport process, he is using a faulty legal code that actually has an individual proclaim their allegiance to the federal government, which was exactly what people are trying not to do. Because of this, David has earned himself a reputation of being a plant. A plant is someone who is put into a community, who is put into a movement to disrupt it and to bring it off path. Many people also agree with me on this. And sadly, I have to agree. He did contribute a lot. At the same time, with that process and the coding that he uses, he clearly is misleading people. I have a video about that I'll post at the end. It's called American State National and State Citizen Terminology. So definitely check that video out if you want to know what that code was that misled so many people. So that's a trap. So if you go the David Straight route, you're going to go into a faulty political status change, which you do not want to do. You do not want to be proclaiming your allegiance to a federal government. That's the opposite of what we're doing. We're bringing everyone back into the republic of our states, into our constitutional jurisdiction. Next, I took a course called The Sovereign's Way, and this is a compilation of about 8 to 10 1 hour conversations. They're literally just audio clips of two men talking. That cost $800 when I got it, just so you guys know. And they're just talking in their perspective and in their experience, what they've learned along the way with their personal stories. There's no integrated video knowledge. There's no documentation. It's all very ethereal, and it's just like a podcast. So it's very one-dimensional, and it's not really geared towards taking actual factual steps towards gaining tax exemption, towards all kinds of things that we can do once we go through the sovereign transformation. So there again, that's the sovereign's way. The next one, I am not going to mention his name because, I mean, I deeply care for him, and I have a lot of respect for him. What he's done for the sovereign community is unspeakable. It's phenomenal. He is the godfather. He is one of the primary godfathers of the sovereign movement. And his documentation process is part of what I do in the transformation. However, I will tell you that when I had to learn through this master of law, who, by the way, has won the majority of his cases throughout his life, the way that he teaches his students is he literally just hands you over a terabyte of information on a USB chip, and it's just like, or a download. And nobody has the time to go through 1 terabyte of information. It's going to take them years. And on top of it, a lot of his documentation that he uses is outdated. He doesn't put the process together in a step-by-step formula. So you're just like figuring it out in the dark, and there's no guidance and there's no clear path forward. So many people that I've talked to that have gotten this 1 terabyte download, including myself, they just give up. It's $100 and it doesn't really go anywhere, sadly. Next is, and I'm hesitant towards speaking their name out loud as well, because I genuinely do like 2 of the individuals working in this organization. I made friends with one in particular, a total angel. But I would say that it is, I'm going to keep their name private. I don't want to create any controversy on this channel. I mean, the channel's already controversial enough. But I'm just going to say that they also provide the service of just the passport status correction, which is actually kind of like the holy grail of becoming sovereign, is getting it reflected in the passport, right? They're using David Straight's process. So yet again, good intentions, but it's a faulty process using a faulty code that traps people into pledging their allegiance to, once again, the federal government. Last 2 services that I wanted to mention, I don't want to release the names of these individuals. One of them is doing David Straight's passport process, and she charges $10,000 per political status conversion. Just so that you guys understand the range of what these services are going for. You know, we have to understand these are law services. And on top of this type of law, to change out of one jurisdiction into another, this has been the most heavily covered secret of the past 100+ years. And this has taken people lifetimes of studying and of passing the torch to be able to arrive to the solutions that we've arrived to today. So it's incredibly valuable, and it's knowledge that will stay with us, and these conversions and this paperwork will support and align us with our true path of sovereignty years into the future, until our old age and until we pass the torch. Another lady charges a percentage of what the person would get if they were to pay taxes. I know of this individual who has made $30,000 by making one person tax exempt. So all the money that he was supposed to give to the IRS that year, he gave a percentage to her. And that's how, she basically just needs 2 clients a year, and she's making $60,000 a year. So these are very high ticket items. I wanted everyone to have access to all of these processes that have been fully vetted and tested, personally by myself and many others around me. I wanted everyone to have access to this because ultimately I know the way that we're going to fight this battle and fight this mafia that is just leeching everything from our life force is by removing their funding, and that's taxation. Taxation is coercion. Taxation is what's been funding all of these endless wars, all of this genocide, all this corruption. Taxation has been funding laboratory rats getting tortured for experiments to see if they can become transgender. Look at all of the revelations of Doge and where all of the taxpayer dollars have gone. It would blow your mind. So if you want to take a completely corrupt, perverted force of power that we have today and destabilize it and allocate your assets to something that is more in alignment for the future and for Mother Earth and for the respect and well-being of the planet, stop funding it. That is the quickest way we're going to collapse this pyramid. Two more things I wanted to speak about. And I've been hearing about two charlatan individuals in particular that I'm going to call out in North Carolina, Asheville, that do tax-exempt trusts. And what they do is they create a trust within a trust within a trust and create all these sneaky little loopholes to make all your assets tax-exempt. That entire ideology in itself is against the principles of sovereignty. Because first of all, this individual isn't even teaching anything to the person who is putting their assets in a trust about what it means to be sovereign. Sovereignty starts in the mind and in the heart. If you don't have that connection and understanding, you shouldn't be getting involved into any paperwork. And I don't recommend sovereignty for everyone. There are individuals who constantly lie, who cheat, who deceive. These individuals need to be governed by our current system. They need to be held accountable, although sometimes they don't. But for the most part, they get put in jail. If you're a rapist, if you're a pedophile, you have no right being sovereign. You are in no standing to take control and authority of your own life. What makes a trust tax exempt is the individual themselves. If the individual has not changed their political status, it is not going to reflect onto their taxes. Why? Because they're operating in two different jurisdictions. And you see, this is all of the stuff that they're not teaching you that you absolutely must know before getting involved in any further lawful processes. The last group of individuals that I wanted to share with you so that you are aware of and don't fall into their traps is the ones that are saying that they can make your businesses tax exempt, all while you are still not tax exempt. So there again, two jurisdictions are crossed. They're not teaching you anything. They're putting your businesses into ministries. Now, if your business is an actual ministry, then that's great. Become a ministry, and then you become a reverend. But that's not the case of what's happening. These people have businesses that have nothing to do with ministries. They are health associations. So they don't know, but they could actually be a PMA or a PHA, which is a public health association. But they're putting them all under ministries, and then they're making them reverends, and they've never done any sort of Bible study in their life. So that in itself is a complete contradiction to what it means to be in sovereign alignment. Why? Because sovereigns don't lie. Sovereigns are about standing in the truth of who they are and invoking their constitutional rights. So until you don't have that mindset and until you don't understand how to do that and what jurisdiction serves what purpose, you don't have any business trying to put yourself as a reverend. It is a joke. Please stop this. It really is such falsities in this community that need to be dismantled. And that is my aim for this video and what I'm doing. If you can feel my passion, if you can feel my heat, it's because I do not like it when leaders are taking masses of people and purposefully deceiving them into the wrong path. That has massive karmic implications, and it's not helping our cause or our movement as a humanity into the future that we are birthing now. With all this information, if you have any questions, please let me know below in the comments. And remember, do you know what does law stand for? I'll see you in the next video.